Dylan, an average-looking human at best, with shaggy brown hair and eyes that nearly match, built for the task of exploration and constantly strapped for an expedition. Willing to take a risk and reap the rewards, he never hesitates on going to the next great adventure. Dylan Ironheart, an archaeologist with a sense for research and wanderlust for adventure. Danger is nothing but a form of fun to him, and if it ends with his life lost, then so be it. It is the closest thing he's ever felt to being alive, ironically enough. Some may wonder what got him into his career, but it's rather simple. One book that led to the next, and the next, and the next. Curiosity led to a drive to seek adventure in caves and ancient pasts, and ruins. Treasure and history is what makes his heart beat, and nothing like getting some treasure along the way while you're at it, right? After all, living safely isn't living at all now, is it?
Amasha Laverne, a fairly small woman with freckles and sandy hair, poofy, that frames her face, covered in freckles and heterochromia eyes, framed in thick, round glasses. She is clad with a simple pink dress and leggings, with cream-colored boots fit for travel. Linked arm in arm with a male drow with basic traveling attire and a soft look in his red eyes, framed in white hair. When you look at her, you get the impression of someone who lived through a relatively normal life. Born in the kingdom of Fezrenth, she comes from a generally peaceful household, with a curiosity and a love to learn. Though she is no stranger to assaults and bullying due to her looks, the names, physical and emotional violence, as well as scars in all manners, physical, emotional, and mental. This resulted in her being a shut-in. Here is where she found her love for history, spending hours reading or learning magic with her father, who died, unfortunately, from illness not long after. This pushed her to be more reclusive until her mother stepped forward to encourage her to step out into the world. With this, she eventually took a job at the library in the Kingdom of Ice and Snow. Within the next couple of years, she met the love of her life, a male drow that goes by the name of Lorian Rivenstorm, when he was passing through the towns. Over a span of time, their love deepened and eventually they got engaged. Now she travels with him, hoping to improve her magical skills, travel, and become a better person.
Barbados, a towering Goliath clad in azure gladiatorial armor and a helm adorned with massive steer horns. His true appearance hidden beneath the metal. When you see this mountainous man in the arena, it's always with his trusty warhammer. The crowd goes absolutely wild with every swing and the crushing of bones. However, all goes silent when he reaches for the axe. Thrust appears. However, despite his bloody profession, combat is not what he desires. Barbados has a more humble goal in mind, something he would rather not share with many. His overall appearance intimidates the average folk, with exception to one tiny little old lady, who taught him to appreciate the gentle life of craftwork. Barbados Grimm also has a peculiar weakness. Cute things. In all this, he has a simple dream that ties into his hobby. To open a humble and cozy craft shop in a humble and cozy town. To be able to sell things that he made with his own two hands. To prove that he can create just as easily as he can destroy.
When people ask who the Count is, they can only describe appearance. A slim performer wearing an elaborate military-style costume, accompanied by black hair and a shining white mask. The way he moves, always taking center stage while performing, grabs the attention of many as he weaves his tunes together. However, beyond that mask and costume lies a very bright face and a more detailed look at life. Born as the last of 3 children to a small farming man named Winston Albega, the young Hansen was constantly surrounded by agriculture and animal husbandry, 2 things he did not take a liking to. Instead, he found himself at the mercy of performing arts, people who would play in the local tavern of his village, always getting what allowance the young farm boy had. One day, after an elaborate performance, an elf offered to take Hansen with her to learn music and see the world. That lady's name was Vinali Keegan, and Hansen gave no second thought to the idea. He rushed back home with excitement to grab his things and to share the news, only to find his mother and father were murdered in cold blood at the hands of a possible kobold attack. While his big brother and sister moved on with their lives with their grandmother, the young Hansen never truly got over what happened. He still went with Vinali, learning how to play the viol just as much as reading a person like a book. When the time came to set off on his own, Hansen adopted the stage name The Count and fashioned a mask to represent his new identity. With that new face, Hansen would be ready to weave his tunes into the minds of others, gaining the power to change the world.
Nazari is a particularly strange-looking individual, or I guess one could say so when looking her over for features that would delegate her to a specific race. Well, let me clarify. She is in fact an elf, thank you very much. Her angled face, sharp eyes, and delicate pointed ears indicate so. Her complexion is pale and prone to sunburn. The white hair that stretches to her lower back is tightly bound in braids. Her eyes look black, though a closer look in bright light shows them to be closer to a shade of reddish-brown, like dried blood. The only feature which jars individuals away from assuming elf are the 2 elegant antlers which start behind her ears and curve forward like a royal crown. Although she seems composed while doing a job, she's positively jumpy and suspicious towards anything handed to her by a stranger. She wears armor that covers her entire form, no skin below her neck exposed, and leather gloves to protect her hands. Nazari was the youngest to a small family of warriors from her tribe. Unlike many other tribes, hers plainly rejected the gods, and all religion was a touchy subject, treated either like tales told by fanatics or tales told to kids as bedtime stories. Unlike her 2 older brothers, Nazari was fascinated by the history of her people. So after years of her family trying to beat their own tradition into her, she found escape, running away from her home during a ceremony that would have chained her to her tribe forever. From then she vowed to travel the roads under the watchful gaze of the golden-eyed stag, her god. May her devotion to him help lead her down the right road.